Well, get ready. We're going to head up to Kansas City today and get some barbecue. This is the third flight in the new engine. There's about 10 hours on it, and we're just a bunch of old men out here on the Rusty Pilot channel, hanging out and experiencing the last fourth of our lives by being alive and getting the heck out of the house, refusing to die. We might be living a little dangerous, but I don't think so. Right along, boys. Here we are in the Runup area at Addison, busiest single runway airport in the nation. We were like fourth in line. There's two more here in front of us getting ready to roll before we do. We're just being kind and letting everybody out in front of us. Then we'll take off VFR and we'll turn back to the left before we enter the Bravo and head out underneath the shelf and then on course. Start out here with a little bit of a Max 360 camera in the front. I like it. It doesn't pick up any sound other than the engine, but you can move it around. And it gives you at least a clue as to what's happening in the cockpit. And I've got some other cool shots coming up here. But we'll go back to the over-the-shoulder max angle lens on the GoPro to take off here as we take 1.6 and start to depart. This is a little bit different for me. You kind of got to roll at the power. It's not like being in your 172 where you just jam it forward and go. Lot bigger, lot heavier. Got the air conditioner running in the back, so we're a little bit cooler. I can't tell whether it makes that much difference, but it does put some aft CG in there. Probably going to end up taking it out, but here we go. As you see the skyline up there, it's not too far before you enter the class Bravo. So once you get 400 feet above the ground, you need to get that gear up, you need to get it squared off, and you need to get your turn on. You're still under the class Bravo shelf here. And then we'll start turning out to get on course. The autopilot's not working in the airplane right now. We sent it in to have the engine installed. It came back burn up. I'm not going to point any fingers, but just to say it worked before it left us. But we're going to sell a third of the plane off. We're going to put a complete Garmin setup in there, probably be $125,000. And hey, I'm not worried about any of this old equipment. I'm moving to the new stuff. So as we start into Kansas City, there's a little bit of rain here. And I'll show you us getting underneath the shelf of the clouds. But we just beat it in. If not, we'd had to file and shine an approach. But we'll break out here underneath. And the Max 360 just gives a really cool perspective of everything around you. You can kind of zoom out a little bit and get a little more tunnel vision. But there's the shelves, 3,600 at the Class D, 4,000 at the Class C. So you kind of got to slip through it. We got too close, so we had to cut a 360 and spiral down here. The clouds were above us. It was a beautiful, beautiful day to get in there. The plane's running 180 knots most of the time, true airspeed at this point, which is probably about 50 knots faster than anything I've flown for the most part. And just getting used to the speed, it eats me alive. Poor Tim's got a lot to do in there to keep up with the old man, to keep him from killing himself. But, you know, we're out. We're exploring, and we're alive. I think as you get a little older and you get in your last phase of your life, where I'm at 55, it's important to be out there doing and living in your last 15 years you got in your body that's probably going to be any good. And this is all part of that. Just getting out and living some adventures, maybe going a little bit of a minimalist lifestyle on your possessions at this point, but making sure there's some adventure there. You know, I bought this plane and got in it. We're going to sell one more third of it just to get out and go. I've got another older man that's my age that's ready to get out and adventure. Here we are rolling out on final. Kansas City downtown's really an epic place to come in and out of. The river is right there, the Missouri River. The landscape of the town's on both sides. It's beautiful. It's kind of an odd place in the sense that there's only 6 parking spots on the ramp for tie downs, and we were number 7, so we ended up having to pull the plane to the side. Thunderstorms came through, and then we'd get back in here. On the way home, we had a little bit of an adventure that I'll show in the next video where the fuel cap wasn't quite on. But one thing's very true, the American Bonanza Society, where they say flying by the numbers works. And if you take this thing down to 18 inches of manifold pressure, she's just hovering right in there. I've not been able to go through any training on landings or anything like that because we got about 20 hours of break-in, so we're just literally getting in the plane and flying big straight lines and going. But it's easier than the Sierra to land, as you'll see right here, because this is some pretty gusty crosswinds. No problem. Drop a wing in, step on that opposite aileron, which is now a ruddervator rather, and it just flows smooth to the tarmac here. There you go. We start to hit into ground effect and just getting the power out. Probably not as smooth as it could be, but certainly smoother than the old Sierra. Just gonna let it roll out here, find our way to the fuel farm, start gassing it up. My old boss from Palo Alto Networks, when I worked for them, is here to get us. He owns Bonanza 2. And the aviation community's small, man. You make friends for a lifetime in this. Big rain had just come through, so we're just kind of beating it out. Probably wouldn't have done this without more experienced pilots in the airplane. I've got, roughly 15,000 hours, and a lifetime ago I used to be a pilot. But if you're in Kansas City, fly to Kansas City and spend 90 minutes, you might as well go eat barbecue. That's what these people have got. We'll get back in the plane as soon as the weather breaks. So that's what we did. We went and got some barbecue with some friends, and then we get right back in there, and we here on the next video. We'll leave. We've not got a fuel cap on all the way, so it's going to have a little bit of gas seep out of the wing, and we'll have to get down real quick at Miami. So, there's always an adventure. Have some people in there that know what they're doing until you know what you're doing. Here we go. And until next time, like and subscribe does my ego some good. I'm not monetized. I'm never going to make $1 off the channel. Don't care. Just makes me feel better. And ride along, man, because we're out. We're seeing some stuff. We got some big adventures coming.